fat nail on the ledger top. Smaller joist hanger nail at the bottom angle. Out at a 45-degree angle. Boom. Done. Okay. This one still looks good. Sometimes as you're whacking that, you could get this slightly angled, and all I have to do is look at my pencil mark on the side. Take that, bend it a little bit. Okay. That just helps me get it up there. Nice. Okay. Push as hard as I can here, and that looks good. Okay, I can tap that in. Big nail at the bottom, ledger. Okay, before I do that top one on the ledger, I'm going to do the angled one with the small nail. And that top little thing that I popped in there has already slightly come loose. It doesn't matter though, because I've got it nailed with that bottom one. Okay. This one, try not to get it too much of an angle. I want it at about a 45-degree angle. Okay. That sucked it up tight here, and it also sucked it up tight against the ledger. Okay, fat nail on the top ledger. Small nail at the 45, the bottom one at the 45-degree angle. Okay, see, if I just did the one angled one, that's not going to pull it up all the way. It's off just a little bit. Get my screw out. Stick it up there at an angle. That sucked it up. I don't know how else to do it. Bottom ledger with the fat nail. It's exactly where it needs to be. Okay. Now I can take that screw out. That's all I needed that screw for. That works so nice. Thin nail, top 45. Sucked it over, and I hit that little tab thing in. Top ledger, fat nail. Ugh. Thinner nail, the thinner nail, 45 at the bottom. Okay, hold it out at a 45. Tap it in. Sweet. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, there you go. You should be a pro being able to install your joist hangers now. Maybe you've never installed a joist hanger before, and you think, oh, okay, that's fine. Maybe you've installed joist hangers for years, and you're like, oh man, I never even thought of that. Now I know how to get it up nice and tight. Now I know how to keep it from squeaking or moving around, putting the construction adhesive on there, and using the screw gun with the sheetrock screw. You can use 1 1/4 inches. I used 1 inch, but see, I don't leave the screws in there. These are all the approved joist hangers going into the actual joist hangers. Okay, some of the clips that I put in, I could have used my nails, but I didn't. These clips, these side clips, I screwed them in. I don't think it's going anywhere. It's not, you know, technically you're not supposed to put screws in there. You're supposed to put, when you have joist hanger clips, you're supposed to use the approved joist hanger nails. Okay? But I ended up using screws. Bad boy. I could have used these. I wasn't sure how many nails I was going to have left. And that's how, you know, I ended up having to use screws in some places because the joist hanger nails, see, like those screws right there, those are 2.5, 3-inch long screws. That goes into the OSB, then it goes into a flat 2x6, which is 1.5 inches thick. That's 2 inches. Yeah, I used 2.5-inch long screws on those. Whereas those going right there, I could have used the screws, and those two right there, I could have used the joist hanger nails. But I had 1.25 inch screws, and I thought, I'll just put them in. Okay? But in any case, anytime you have the joist hangers, use the approved joist hanger nails. Don't use screws. Don't use sheetrock screws. The black ones, don't use galvanized sheetrock screws. Don't use the gray ones that I was showing you down here. Don't use those. Okay? Those are not approved for structural load bearing on there. The joist hanger nails are, okay? So make sure you get the right type of joist hanger nails for the type of joist hanger that you have. And if you got questions, you just ask at the hardware store. They'll help you out. They're really good about that. Okay? So that's looking pretty good, isn't it? 16-inch on centers, and I started from this side. And if you've noticed where my ladder is, I have one last one. I've got to put 2 joist hangers in there. I already have it marked. See the line with the X. The X means that's where the 2x6 fits. From that line over to the right, 1.5 inches. From that edge, you know, from that edge of the 2x6, and then the 2x6 will go over to the right. And I'm going to have to pull my ladder out now, or I'll have to check and see if I can fit my ladder in between these, just in case I need to go down there one last time. But I'm going to leave that 2x6 joist out for right now, because the end of this was not square. So once I make all my cuts for the piece of plywood that fits in here, I'm going to dry fit it in here once, and then I'll be able to know exactly where this last joist is going to be. I'm pretty confident it's going to be within 1/8 of an inch, one way or the other, of where I've got my line, based on how I squared this out and stuff. And I showed you on another video how to square this. I squared off that floor joist to make this a perfect square. And I did it with just a tape measure. You got to see that video. How to square. I don't even know how I'm gonna title that one yet. But anyways, it'll be under all the videos on the playlist for the deck repairs. Just look for deck repairs, and I'll have a ton of videos on there showing you all the stuff that I've done. Okay, and that I've fixed, and the stairs, and I had to fix that column, tore that column apart, had to fix that over there. All the new wood under there is stuff that I've done, and I had to fix the stringers for the stairs underneath there, the whole bit. Okay, so I'm thinking I'm ready for that plywood. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back down, and I'm going to kind of peruse this a little bit, make sure I've got that I've got all my screws in everywhere, and do a once over down there, because once I put this plywood, hey, I'm not going down there anymore. The only way I'll be able to get under there later is through this access hole, which goes underneath this deck here, and then there's an access hole right here that goes into the rest of the house, underneath the house. Okay, so anyways, thanks for joining me on how to properly install a joist hanger. I'm getting ready to cut the plywood, and I made myself a little drawing here of what that piece of plywood's going to look like out here, and I laid it out from that corner. That is not square to the plywood, and so this point I know is, and I measured straight across, and these are all 16" on center. Boom, 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 boom. So what I did is, this is going to be the edge of the sheet of the plywood, and then it's going to go out that way. So I measured out 4 feet out to there, 48 inches, and 48 inches from here. I couldn't do it. It's like, how am I going to measure out these corners? Because I don't know if this corner is perfectly square to this piece of plywood. This corner as well, okay? So now that I've got my line down there, now I can measure from that line over and then back this way, and then I can measure off of the line back this way to here to see what this corner is, and then go from there and do my measures. Okay, and then I'm going to go out and cut the plywood. I'll bring it in here and I'll lay it in here rough and check out the cut. I'm not going to glue it and get ready to nail it, you know, and then try to put it into place and find out, oh shoot, I should have shaved off a little bit more around that corner or something, you know. So it's okay, you can cut your plywood, especially if you're getting started. You can cut your plywood first and then bring it up in here and check out the marks and do all that kind of stuff. Because I might even leave this, remember that edge is going to be long, right? I might even just leave that long, and then I can, if I'm going to set this piece up here rough the first time, I mainly want to make sure that this corner is going to fit in there and I don't have to do any shaving to it, and this one. And then once I do that, once I know these two are okay, I can just underscribe that with my pencil, right? Take it back out there and cut it. I could do it that way too. All right. Getting ready to cut the plywood. Well, that's all I have for this time, but I'll be back with more videos. And you'll learn something else next time as well, hopefully. That's my goal. Every time I make a video, I want you to learn something.